Hello foodies and welcome back to FUT in Review powered by FUTcoaching.com. Today we are recording episode 436. We are the currently 2 times a week podcast bringing the latest thing about FIFA Ultimate Team and of course made possible by you, our listeners, viewers and especially our Patreon supporters. So go check out patreon.com/FUT in Review to see the amazing benefits a little contribution can bring you. And of course, a special shout out to our Skybox owners, Reese, Amar, Daniel, and Archon, because they support us in the maximum tier. They get a free coaching session every single month. And of course, this special shout out. My name is John, and today I am your host, and I am not alone. I am joined by 2 special guests, which I have been spending a lot of time with in the past season, and I'm grateful they will be coming back today on the podcast. Let me start by introducing the one and only Guy Slobbe. Hey, Guy.
Yes, thanks.
How are you doing?
Yeah, very fine. Last week I've done with school. I defended my thesis, so that's not about FIFA, but it's a personal thing. So finally done with school for my whole life, I think. So that's it.
Congratulations. And although you are done with school for your whole life, as James Tolan said 2 weeks ago on the podcast, every day is a school day. So don't forget to learn from life.
That's true. But I mean like, you need to read some books and to learn things for exams and etc.
Definitely. And don't forget, if you want to learn things about FIFA, then just visit FUTcoaching.com. We might be able to help you there. But it's good to have you back on, mate. We'll talk about how the off-season is treating you in a minute. But of course, this show wouldn't be complete without the myth, the legend himself, the actual retired pro player by now. It's none other than Jason Glas.
Yeah, thanks, Sean. It's good to be back.
It's good to see you, buddy. It's been actually not too long ago. We've been at DreamHack with the 3 of us. It's been a month ago, something like that. But a lot have happened since then, Jason, for you.
Yeah, definitely. So we had one last event after the Edivisie season finished. And, we played a little tournament there. And then I had some time to think about my decisions and what I want to do next year. And that's how I decided to quit playing competitive FIFA.
And is that because the tournament was so bad? Because you did beat Ajax, if I remember correctly.
No, not at all. Not because of that tournament. We still played pretty well, and we went out unlucky after 6 points out of 3 games. So it's not the case.
No, especially. For people, before we talk about your retirement, I think there might be people listening to the show who don't know you guys. So, Jason, can you give a quick introduction on who you are? Everyone knows you're Jason by now, and what you do for FIFA, what your link is with FIFA. As not being a retired pro player now, but everyone already knows. But.
Yeah, so since last week I'm a retired pro FIFA player, and last season I played with Kai at PEC Zwolle in the Netherlands. I've played at Fortuna Sittard and AZ Alkmaar before. And I think that I started when I was 14, 15 years old in the scene. So I've had my years in the scene, and now I decided that it's time to go pursue something else.
Yeah, and we have to say, though, you're still very, very young, honestly, right?
Yeah, so I'm still only 19, but it feels like a long time. It has actually been 5 years. So in the scene, that's some time.
Yeah, it's rather cool, though, because you've been at the start of the Dutch Edivisie. I think from season 1 or joined season 2?
No, so I missed season 1 when they started in a really small room and without any production team, I think. But the second season, when it got serious, I was there and I've seen it all.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. Kai, for people that don't know you, who are you?
Yeah, my name is Kai, and since last year I played my first year competitive FIFA for a Dutch pro club like PEC Zwolle, with what Jason already said. And but PEC Zwolle is now relegated from the Eredivisie in the Dutch league, so I need to find another club. So maybe when some clubs are listening to this podcast, give me a message on my social or something like that.
Yeah, we should not forget to mention your socials, and I'll put them into the description so people will actually know where to find you. But this requires a little bit of explanation, though, because the Dutch Edivisie is the equalization of the actual Eredivisie, which means the 18 teams that play in the Dutch Eredivisie also has a representation in the esports variant, the Eredivisie. But you guys were, I think, 13th in the league past season, which doesn't necessarily is a very bad result. But because PEC Zwolle relegated in the actual Eredivisie, PEC Zwolle also relegates from the Eredivisie, which is still a weird system if you ask me. It feels really unfair, especially if it's your team, guy. That's that sucks, I think.
But PEC Zwolle before the winter break they were less than really bad in points, but after that they get some points back, but it was not enough. So that was our place in the Eredivisie for next season for PEC Zwolle.
Did that influence your mindset on your performances, knowing that PEC Zwolle might as well end being in the Eredivisie, and that might influence your seat while you actually can't do anything about it?
No, I don't think so. I want to show everyone what were my skills. So it was not like I need to show because PEC Zwolle maybe is gonna relegate from the Dutch league.
All right, Jason, did that influence you at all?
To be honest, not really. I feel like you always must give everything you got. So it doesn't matter if the actual football team is playing good or not. It was more kind of that I had a bad feeling for the actual football team, because we also watched the games on the weekend when they were playing, and then it was like, oh god, it's going bad again, so let's hope to get some points next week.
Yeah. They still had a good sprint, I think, after the winter stop, right?
So they got a really...
Well,
they made a comeback, and they had like only a few points at the winter break, and then they got, I believe after the winter break they were 8th or 9th in the league if you would have started the season after the winter break. So that shows how much they came back.
And how much they lost at the start of the season.
Yeah, and how much they lost at the start, because despite being 8th after the winter break, it still wasn't enough.
It was because all the teams, a few places above them, they all got points, like Fortuna Sittard, Sparta, like they were winning from every team. So that's why PEC Zwolle was still the last.
That's a weird relegation, because I think even the coach remained, right? PEC Zwolle. Did they fire him?
No, they got a new coach.
They got a new coach.
The
Always been in multiple. And that one stays, right?
And that one stayed, and now he's going to stay for next season as well.
Which is pretty cool, still after relegation. So that's also how you can treat coaches. Guys, what is your relationship with me? Can someone explain quickly, because I don't like saying it for myself. Jason, I see you laughing now.
So do I need to start off?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So actually, because of our management, which is Home of Esports, we got in contact with John and FUT Coaching. And then we decided to work together for last season. So for the Eredivisie, but also for the international tournaments. And we had a lot of coaching sessions, but also just regular talks and some meetups during the year. And I think we had a fun year. We had a good year in terms of progress. But as said already, we didn't make it to the next round of the Eredivisie, so that was a bit of a bummer. But our season, in terms of relationship, was pretty good, I think.
Yeah, we had a lot of draws.
Yeah.
I distinctly remember getting draw after draw after draw, which doesn't really help.
In the last few minutes, most of the times.
Yeah, so there's definitely something to process still. But basically, I would just put everything out. I didn't make you retire from FIFA, did I, Jason?
Well, actually you did, but no, that's not the case at all. But so we still had a fun season, but it was more of a personal thing where I was not sure if I wanted to give everything I have next season. And in short summary, I felt like I can only continue in this scene if I want to give it my all. And if I would not do that, then I would disappoint myself and the team that I play for. So this felt like the only right choice.
Yeah. People don't really realize, I think, how much effort goes into being a pro FIFA player. And pro is always you got pros and you got pros, right? There's a bit different. But when representation and an organization and representing a team actual, and you guys were broadcasted on ESPN every Tuesday as well, right? So it's a big commitment. Next to school, because you're also in the age, well, Guy just finished. Jason almost about to finish, I think.
No, so I'm going into my second year next year. So.
Yeah. And I think, it's a big commitment next to school. How much time, there's also a question that was sent in, how much time would you spend in an average week on FIFA during the regular season? Let's ask Guy first.
That's a difficult question, but when we had the matches on Tuesday, so most of the times on Monday, I only play on the EA accounts we got from EA to practice against other pro players. I think Wednesday on Tuesday you play the Edivisie match like a few games before to practice. So and Wednesday I'm not playing. Thursday, Friday playing, Sunday playing. So like 5 days, 2 or 3 hours, I think. So 15 hours, maybe.
Yeah, so I spent twice as much. I should be a pro player, basically. But it wasn't for my age.
Yeah. Sometimes I need a break because then I got headache and just a day off.
Yeah.
That helps me.
Yeah, I think that's important, though. I think sometimes to not play FIFA at times as well, it can be very demanding. And I think the pressure that's on you guys is, people say that there's a lot of pressure when playing Wicked League, but I think Wicked League isn't too much pressure for you guys, but it's different when you're playing on live streams with 10,000 people and being broadcast on television, I suppose.
Yeah.
And being on stage with lights on you. Which I've lately found out that's actually really, really, really warm if you spend too much time under those lights. So, yeah. Jason, how much time would you normally spend on FIFA in a week?
If I would have to give it an example hours, I would say like 20, 25 hours a week. So it's not a full-time job if you look at it that way, but it's still a decent amount of time. And you have to understand that it's not only playing the game, but it's also the mental side or the coaching sessions or driving towards the studio and back. So over a whole week, you definitely put in 30 to almost 40 hours if you take everything into consideration.
Yeah. One of the questions that's got sent in, I know the answer, but I'll let you guys answer. Because you're both in school and you're doing this to the side, is there a pro athlete mentality at school? Are there being arrangements being made? Or is it just you just have to deal with school and make sure it all fits next to this?
For me, Rick Dahmer from Go Ahead Eagles last year, he was in the same school as me. And he asked before me for like a pro status on the school. But the school said like, a FIFA player is not in our reglement, like in Dutch you say top sport, you get this status. And so that's why I didn't get one. So I need to do all the same things like my other students.
If you have classes on Tuesday, what happens?
I don't know, because I was writing my thesis.
Oh, yeah,
so
of course.
I didn't have any classes the whole year. So that was my luck, I think. So I don't know what's for Jason in his school.
So I did actually get a pro status last year. So I needed to have a few conversations with one of the directors of the school. And then I had to explain how big esports actually is, because they have exceptions for other sports like football or tennis or the regular sports. Yeah. But it was a bit more difficult with esports, but in the end I got one. And that did mean that if I had a game on a Tuesday, then I was allowed to skip classes, or if I had a test, I could make that on another day.
Oh,
so great. I had some advantages, but to be honest, I didn't really use them, because most of the times I was free to go to the studio, and I didn't have an exam a single time on Tuesday.
But it's good that they think along with you, though. I can't imagine how hard it must be if you have to split yourself up, right? Yeah. I think even if you do take advantage of it, you have to make up for it. So you got to go back and do this you still got to do it. But it's still a tremendous amount of pressure if you know you're going to make a test in the morning, for example, and play on live TV in the afternoon. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
But luckily, that's not the question. That's cool. Big shout out to your school. A lesser shout out to Kai's school, but who cares now? Anyway.
Yeah. I'm done.
Guys, when we have people back in, we these days ask you the 10 or 11 questions, rapid fire questions. And I want to ask you guys this as well. So I'm going to ask a question, and I see Kai first on my recording and Jason second, so there's no preference there. But if we do Kai first, it looks better on the videos as well. So I'm going to ask you the questions. The first thing that comes up in your mind, answer it. And if I think it's funny or I have a cool remark about it, I'll be doing that. Are you guys ready?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So the first one is pretty easy. Kai, PlayStation or Xbox?
PlayStation.
Jason?
PlayStation.
That's easy, right? Because you're a pro player, you need to be on PlayStation. What's your first FIFA?
FIFA 7.
FIFA 10.
You guys are so young. What's your best FIFA?
FIFA 20?
All right.
Like
all right.
what? No, but,
I
Yeah, you
think
want
FIFA
it stuck
20 as well.
I had the question like when my performance were the best,
Oh,
or
which game did you like most?
14.
Oh, then I think 17, FIFA 17.
And Jason,
most.
you said 14.
I said 14, yeah.
Yeah, I've got to admit, I got to agree with Kaido, because 14 was a cross-gen mess-up game, in my honest opinion, and the only game, FIFA 14, which I bought 4 times, because there were PlayStation 3 tournaments, PlayStation 4 tournaments, Xbox tournaments, and a new-gen Xbox tournaments by then. So I have a stack of copies of FIFA 14, and I really disliked the game. FIFA 17 was my first year being involved with pros as well, so, and Weekend League, of course, and stuff, so I really like 17. Although 14 games from Weekend League, guys, do you still remember? Awesome.
Cool.
Oh, awful. If you could change one thing in this FIFA, what would it be?
The headers.
Oh, sorry, that was an interesting one. Headers? Why? Defensive, offensive?
Like the offensive, the glitch headers, like crosses, and then like a Wout Weghorst or Zlatan Ibrahimovic second post, and then just had it in.
Yeah, is it more the
It's
cross or
no
the header?
skill.
That's
The cross, yeah. The cross with the header.
It's the insane lob, sort of really weird crosses, which, yeah.
Yes.
Jason.
I would remove that.
So I was wanting to say pay to win at first, but then you gave me some time to think. And then I wanted to say the way chemistry is involved in the game.
Cool. That will get changed, as it's rumored, at least for the new game. So that's going to be cool.
Yeah, so that's what they're saying. But the first thing that came to mind was pay to win.
Yeah. Unrelated questions, but you guys have to pay a lot of money at the start of the game, FIFA points, to even be able to participate, honestly, right?
Yeah.
It's insane, still. But topic for another show, I'm afraid. What's your favorite real-life football team? Kai?
That's Zwolle.
Did you say Pek Zwolle, for real? They are relegated, mate. You can now give an honest answer.
No, Feyenoord Rotterdam.
Yeah.
It's AZ Alkmaar for me.
Cool. That must be cool, though, Jason. You've played for AZ in the Edivisie.
Yeah, so that's where I played my first 2 matches. And that was a sick story, how I ended up there. So we might have some time to talk about that.
Well, go for it.
So if I have to keep it short, so there was a player at AZ at that time that was playing, and his name was Melvin Boeren. And then, well, it really sucked, but he got into a car accident. And because of that, he was not able to play the last few games of that season. And so I got a phone call when I was 16 years old. So that was my first year I was even able to compete. And they said something really unlucky happened, and do you want to stand up and show what you're capable of? So that's how I got into my first 2 games against PSV. And we made a plan, and I was only 16 and I almost had no experience. But we got there, and I ended up taking the 3 points.
That's brilliant, though. That's cool.
Yeah, so the car accident part is not brilliant at all, and it really sucked for him. But because that happened, I got a chance to show myself, and so yeah, it's a bit weird, the story, but that's how I ended up playing my first 2 matches.
He came out of the accident all right, though.
Yeah, so we fully recovered.
Just
but because by that time I had the chance to play.
All right. That is a cool story, though. More serious stuff then. What is your biggest fear, Kai?
Ooh.
Yeah, you thought this was going to be easy, right? Jason is really happy. I'm going to give him another minute to think about this one.
Oh, my biggest fear.
My biggest fear was relegating with Pek Zwolle, so just putting it into perspective. No fears. These guys are young and fearless.
Losing some family member or something, yeah.
That's a good answer.
Yeah.
Getting very grim, but yeah. Jason is still taking it. I don't think.
No, I think my fear would be
AZ relegated.
dying from a plane crash, or
oof. That's
like
actually pretty scary. Yeah. Minus spiders, and I mean, not that bad. Twitter or Instagram, Kai?
Instagram.
Jason.
Twitter.
Oh, interesting. Is that because of FIFA or is that because of personal preference?
No, just personal preference at all.
Ah, cool. I'm in the same boat, but people say that's because I'm old. So that's cool to see youngsters still use Twitter these days. Is scripting real, Kai?
Yeah, for me, it's real.
Jason, is scripting real?
Yeah, for me it is.
Oh, I know many people want to get more into detail from that. But I'm not going to go there because that would mean a hefty discussion and we'll take up the rest of the podcast. Maybe for another podcast. Let me know if you want to learn that. Your favorite food and why is it pizza, Kai?
Pizza? My favorite food is, I think, Chinese or something. Like Indonesian or Chinese food.
Ah, cool.
A bit spicy. Really like that. On a Sunday evening.
That's interesting. Jason?
For me it has to be lasagna.
No, it's close to pizza. I'll prove it.
Both Italian.
Yes, exactly. Last but not least of the questions, guys. If there would be made a movie about you, who would play you in that movie, Guy?
My parents, my sister.
Now, who would be which actor would play you in that film?
Yeah.
This is a hard question.
I don't really watch films or series. I only watch like some Dutch television bullshit MTV series. So actors, I would say Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, that's a cool one. I would say Timothée Chalamet for you. Honest. Go check him out on June.
Okay.
Watch June and you'll see. Jason, who would be playing you in your future film?
The first thing that came to mind was the Dutch Giant.
So you're full of yourself.
No, but you know the guy who's starting to get into acting right now.
That is true, yeah.
But Jason needs to mention something. He can bench press like 100 kilo. So that's why.
That's a whole other story, but mostly because I'm tall and he's as well.
That's a cool answer though. That's cool. I've not heard anyone actually get a good one from me, but I think this is a pretty decent one. Got also some sent-in questions, guys. Let me check out the question. I think the first question that's been sent in is from Andy, aka Hippo. And he says, when picking up the new game, what would be your focus? Do you look at mechanics or do you look at animations, or how do you find the best way to get started in a new game? Or in a new game, Jason? Not sure. You're actually going to play FIFA 23?
Well, I think I will, but just not at a competitive level. But the first thing I would do at the new game is just have some fun and get hours into the game. Because I feel like if you're going to focus on the mechanics or what's OP in the first few hours, that's going to reduce some of the fun you have. So my advice would be just have fun in the first 1 week or the first 2 weeks. Play the game, enjoy it.
Yeah, just grind out menus or rivals or...
Whatever you like. So play some games, get into the market, build a nice squad, do everything you like. Just have fun in the first few weeks.
Yeah, does the fun stop after a few weeks now for you, FIFA?
No, the fun does not stop at all, but the feeling of I have a new FIFA disappears after a few weeks.
Yeah, I think the older you get, the more easily that actually goes.
And that sucks, because the feeling of I have a new game is still amazing.
Yeah, I know that feeling of when I was like going back from holidays, like, oh, next week it's FIFA time, and then go to the store and get it. Now it's like, oh yeah, I pre-ordered copies for the team, and yeah, let's get to work. Way different.
So I left school. There were a few times where I left school early because the game came out, and then I went to the director and I said, I don't feel well at all. I have to go home, and then I started playing.
Yeah, well, you can say it now, right? You're off that school.
I was the next day always ill, always. So I can play the whole day the new FIFA.
So how do you become a pro in FIFA? You make sure you have fun in the first 2 weeks of FIFA, and you go in sick for school.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Make sure you're sick when it releases.
Yeah, exactly. It's a bad advice, but hey, these guys give the good examples. Guy, what would you be looking for when the new game hits?
For me as a pro player, like I will play the whole week, like FUT Draft, because then you can grind some coins and get most of the times not that good players in the first few rounds, so you can adapt to the new FIFA and get some a lot of matches to play, to know the few new things about the game. So
do you spend points on buying tokens to get into draft, or do you spend FIFA coins into draft?
No, always points. Like I'm gonna keep my coins till the market is gonna drop, and then I'm gonna build my team. So I know, like last year, I think 2 weeks I didn't make any squad. I just played FUT Draft to grind some coins.
Yeah, and it helps that you actually win matches in FUT Draft.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. To get some packs.
If I can interrupt, in addition to Kai, I still feel like if you don't use any points, coins still is a good thing to invest into the draft, because at the start of the year, every player is very expensive. So even with coins, you're able to make some coins out of the draft.
Yeah, 15,000 coins for a draft is pretty hefty amount, and if you're not on your guys' level, you have to win at least like 2 rounds to be able to get something back. So
if you're a really good player, you can do it. But if you're not sure if you can make it past the second round, then I would not do it.
Yeah. I'm usually not that fast at adapting to the new game. So I always say, let's go into drafts. And then I'm like, yeah, that was fun. That doesn't, like a month later, I'm winning drafts, and then the player price already dropped. So,
Yeah, and I think like a tip for some people who's watching, like just watch some good pro FIFA players, like most of the times but most of the times on the release there are a lot of pro FIFA players like live with FUT Draft or something. Go watch that for half an hour and see what they are doing. Maybe you can pick something up.
Yeah, that's a good advice anyways, right? So I think when, for example, the Edivisie broadcast their matches, although it's not always fun to watch the esports scene, and has something to do with stakes, and definitely has something to do with the format, but I've been very public with my criticism on that one. I think if you looking at those matches and willing to be learning from it, there's always something to get out of these matches, which you can implement yourself. And hopefully next year you're able to actually help with pointing that out. But it's always good to watch a good high-level FIFA player play, and don't watch like the boring part. Look at something you could implement yourself. There's always something which really helps. And at the start of the game, little things can make a big, big advantage for you. Question in from a very familiar face, from Ryan Hampton, of course, our new pro clubs director and former also retired FUT Pro player. Jason, you have had experience with working with Ryan. He asks, from your entire FIFA career, do you have one moment in particular you will remember forever? and also one moment you'll actually regret. And he says you can't say working with foot coaching on the regret part, and you can definitely say not joining Team Foot Coaching's pro team on the regret part.
So this question is only for me or for Kai
No, it's
also?
for both, but you go ahead. I'll ask you first. So what's your biggest moment in FIFA? What do we always remember in your career?
What I will always remember is when I got the call up for my first game ever, because I was in school and during the lesson I got called 4 times in a time span of 5 minutes. So I knew something was going on. So I went to the teacher and I said, I have to pick this one up. So I went out of class, called back instantly, and that's when I got my the question if I wanted to play my first ever game. So I'll never forget that. And the thing I regret is there might be some things that I regret, but I feel like I've always done stuff
Right in the moment.
What?
You always did right in the moment. So,
yeah, so I feel like I can always back up what I did and why I chose that thing.
Yeah.
So that
Then
reduces
there's no
the amount
regret,
of
right?
regret I feel.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, it's always better to make a decision and in hindsight think about back on the decision. Like, I could have done that differently, but that's definitely different than regretting something. And the thing you'll regret most is not making the decision, I always say.
Yeah, definitely.
But now I start sounding like an old man, so I'll ask Kai, what's your favorite moment in your early career thus far?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna take a moment, but at that moment I was not a pro FIFA player because I think I get my first 30-0. It was like, wow, and everyone can see me in the top 100. All my friends were like, you're like a king or something. And I felt like really good the whole week on Monday. Yeah, I don't know. That was a really fine moment for me. I can post something on my socials, my first ever 30 bomb. So I think I was really proud of that.
That's pretty cool. I can't say I made 30 now, honestly, myself. But I'd like to say I've trained a lot of people that actually did get it. So maybe that helps.
And maybe as a pro FIFA player, I think the first time I get in the studio with Jason together, all the cameras and everything was set up. I really like that moment and the first time ever in my career.
Yeah, and that was actually still during COVID, so production was limited. The amount of people on the stages were limited.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's still a pretty cool experience, right?
Yeah.
That's
and something to regret. I can't really say something, I think, because it's not even a year. Like when I started in November, so
it's early
a few
days.
months. Yes, I think maybe after a few years I can say something.
That's always good to share with people. What if you think about the past year in the pro scene of your career? What is the biggest thing you've learned? Okay. Can be anything, like sit straight for a camera, put on a smiling face. Don't throw controllers because there's actually a camera on the other side of your screen this time.
The biggest thing I learned, in Dutch we say borst vooruit, like chest up, like
chin up and let's go for it.
Yes, also in the Edivisie, you need to play your own style. Don't be afraid to make a fault or anything. That is, I think, the biggest thing I learned. Also from our coach Sean,
that's the why
who said that every week. So I think that's the thing.
I think I've always said it's important to believe in yourself, do your own thing, but also don't be afraid to look back and see what went wrong, and then try to implement that for the next time. And you can only grow from that experience. And
exactly.
You've definitely grown, for sure. Talk about growing. Jason, you've not only grown physically, because you can now bench press about 100 kilos. What's the biggest thing you've learned?
If we look to the past season?
Yeah.
The biggest thing I learned is don't use something in a game if you didn't practice it enough. So we went a few times where we went for a formation or a tactic that I didn't really practice at all, or it was one day before that we decided to do that, and it didn't turn out good one time. So
Nope.
that's what I would say that I've learned.
Yeah.
Give it time to practice.
Yeah, that's something I've been, I've learned myself working with you guys this year.
I think we've learned it together.
Yeah, it's important. Like we can have good ideas. Yeah, I think I sometimes overestimated how easy it is to adapt to certain things while being under pressure. I think that's the biggest difference. Like you can definitely apply a new tactic on a Friday and play a weekly with it and still perform with it because not every single match is on a high level. While if we implement a tactic and you can't practice enough with it and you suddenly have to play that tactic on a very high level, it might actually feel really hard, as we have experienced, which for us is also a good experience. Like we now take more time to help pro players guide into that experience or focus more training sessions on that. It's been a good lesson, and I think that's something we at FUT Coaching definitely take into consideration now as well.
Yeah, all of us learned from it.
Yeah.
Let's go. If you would be, and we're almost about the end of the podcast though, so but if you would give one advice to aspiring pros, people that are now listening or watching this show, say, you know what, I think pro player in FUT would be something I would definitely be good at. I can make it 30-0 in my weekend league. Well, you can't do that anymore. 20-0 in weekend league. I'm a 23 on a skill rating. How do you become a pro? What happens here? And I think we know Jason's story pretty well. But what would be your advice for these guys, Jason? Or girls, by the way. I can't see why girls wouldn't be able to do that as well.
Well, of course, make sure to get your hours in, grind the game.
30
but
hours
also
a week,
make sure you still have other things to do beside gaming. And build a good brand on social media. I feel like that's a really important part. So get your Instagram, get some posts in, be active on Twitter, and make sure people know you.
Yeah, that's an important one, I think. Sometimes underestimated. That's a cool one. Guy, people maybe don't know it, but you've actually started this by joining a TV show.
Yeah.
And let's tell a little bit about that. And also, I don't think that's a very easy one for people that are now listening to the show. So also give an advice for people that could not join the pro scene through a TV show.
Get in a TV show.
Yeah. No, it was like, I think September 2020. I saw something on Instagram like, yeah, you're in Dutch television, you have Videoland. It was like Team Gullit, the organization, they are searching for new talent and they're going to make a television show. So I was like, yeah, you need to fill some questions in and I will do that. And then I was thinking I will never hear something about or have never heard something from it. But a few weeks after I was called and they said like, yeah, you need to make a movie about yourself, your results, what you're doing, your hometown. And I was like, yeah, cool, I will do that.
And you look like Timothée Chalamet, so that helps.
Yeah. So I did that, and then they said you can come make pictures in Amsterdam for the television show, and you're one of the like 50 or 60 guys were invited for the first episode. So that's why.
So again, social media presence is definitely necessary to get noticed, but you also have to be able to play FIFA really well.
Yeah, but I think a few years ago you can post like 30-0 and monthly rankings, and I did that as well. But now it's a little bit difficult. But yeah, when you reached 20-0 in weekend league, like, are you gonna post it? I'm thinking about that. Yeah, you would.
I made 17, and I'm like, yes.
But I don't think, management organizations or something. I'm gonna look about that. Maybe. Jason agree with me?
That it's less important to post your weekend league score right now.
Exactly.
I agree with you, but I still feel like you have to post some decent results you got so that they know that you're capable of playing good FIFA. But it's more important to just get out there and show that you're playing competitively.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think skill rating is really important. It is actually really hard to get like the 2375 was the last time. which is an insane high number, I still believe. But if you make that, it's something you can actually be proud of. It means you have grinded, you have the level, you have the consistency.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think I can say much about the current rival system. I think it's not healthy. And I think they should cut it off earlier so not everyone has to play during the night. I've talked about that before.
We did that. We've been there.
Yeah, I mean, I distinctly remember being at, 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. talking with Jason, seeing if he can still make it. And after 20 hours of playing, he barely missed out that morning. So I think they have to cut it out. But it does show it is a good system to show the world that you're consistent and that you are able to play on a high level over a long period of time as well. So I think that it's definitely good for that. I do think it's too long, and I do think it should be cut off at a certain time day earlier, or just during normal times. And I do think the skill rating level was really high, and sometimes even a bit unfairly high. Like, you can't make that with 15 hours a week, for example, unless you actually win every single game. I don't think that's really how it should be. I think part of being a pro should also be showing the world that you can be healthy while doing it, or being responsible. I think responsibility on gaming is something very often overlooked, and I don't think the current system actually shows that's important. It shows you have to grind during the night and not sleep to be able to make it.
Yeah. And there still were a lot of should I say holes in the system, because, for example, you were able to play on PS5 again, the PS4 version.
First 2 seasons, they did cut that off. So.
Yeah, okay, but in the first 2 seasons you were able to play on the PS4 instead of the PS5, which was way easier. Or, for example, you could play co-op instead of solo. So there were some points where you could have said off, I'm not sure if that's a fair thing to do.
Yeah, sometimes you get a draw and you get minus 25 points or something.
Yeah, so you've had that a few times.
Crazy,
So I got the points in the co-op game with Kai, and then he was like, I got no points at all. So he went crazy and I got the points.
Yeah, and then people are like, well, who cares about the little points? But when you're actually going for a certain amount to actually be able to participate in the tournaments, it is really, really important.
Yeah, every point counts.
Exactly. No, it is what it is. So practice, put in the hours, put in a social media profile if that's if you want to get up and noticed. I think that's very important. Cool tips, guys. Anything you want to add for everyone listening? For anyone listening?
What Jason already said, do something next to FIFA when you want to become a pro player. Like, work some days in a week. It's not necessary to work full time, but a few days, or go to school a few days, do something.
Exercise.
Exercise.
Definitely exercise. Yeah.
Yeah, next to FIFA, because it's really good for your mental health. Because otherwise you're gonna get crazy, I think.
Yeah, and we've seen a few pros this year who tweeted out on Twitter that for the outside world it seemed like they were fine. But because they didn't exercise, because they went all out on the game, in the end, they put on a post where they told us that they had problems with their mental health, or they didn't feel fine at all. So it shows that you really have to keep yourself up and work on your mental health besides playing the game for hours.
Yeah, mental and physical health. I think very underestimated. And I think I've never seen such a crazy amount of pro players retiring because of that reason. I think your reason of stopping it is way different. You're just you've been there 5 years. You're looking into something new. Maybe you'll even come back, but you know why you did it, and you're happy looking back to it. But there's a lot of people actually stopping and say, I've got messages as well, like, I'm sorry, mate, I'm just going to call it. I just can't take this anymore. Yeah. Which shows something that it's definitely another part. Not only being good with the controller in your hands, it requires much, much more. It's very important. I would also recommend just playing pro clubs next to this, though, just for fun. Do that in a good club. And because that's the other one. Ryan asked, especially to Jason, because he knows Kai is, of course, very, very busy in the coming season. But he asked Jason, why are you not coming into Team FUT Coaching's pro club?
So I did really think about it, and could have known that this question was coming.
You knew, well, because I did ask you before, right? So you knew.
Yeah, so you asked it already, but in summary, it is, if I'm not going to grind the game out and decide to take time off FIFA, then I don't think it's a good idea to get so quick back into the FIFA grinding scene and the pro clubs.
I think it's a very smart decision in your situation. You want to enjoy the game for the enjoyment of playing the game.
Yeah, so I really want to get the enjoyment back and not having to feel any pressure at all and just play for fun again.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. But I was required to ask it, of course.
Yeah, I could have known that the question was coming.
And Kai is just too busy with work and very much busy with getting a new team for next year. How's it looking, Kai? Any prospects?
Yeah, maybe the management, they send me a message. They are busy with that. So I still feel like I get a few months because the season is starting in November. So last year Pek called me the half of October. So I still have a few months. Hopefully it will be positive for a new club.
Yeah, we'll cross our fingers for you.
Yeah,
because that means hopefully we can also work with you again.
Yeah, maybe.
Cool, man. Otherwise, what are the options? Gonna stream?
No, I think I will just play without a club, but no pressure at all, and then just play in my free time, and then I think maybe a retirement as well. And I'm not getting a club this year.
I'll give you one commitment, and that is if there's not a team coming for you, I'll know a certain team that's definitely going to be able to hook you up. We'll get that arranged. No, but all good luck. We hope to see you next year in the Edivisie once again.
Yeah.
It has been an absolute pleasure having you guys on. There's one question remaining. People ask you, season ends usually during team of the season, unless you're one of those lucky players to get it into World Cup. If the season ends, are you guys still playing FIFA? Or is it actually done, throw it away, throw it in the bin next year again? I see Jason grinning. Great, Jason?
Well, I'm not sure if I can explain it properly, but after my retirement post last week, I instantly felt... What?
You started playing FIFA again.
Well, not really, but the few days after my post, I felt some kind of freedom, and the pressure fell off me instantly. So I played 2 games of FIFA last week, and in one of them, I got a guy on FUT Champs that got me 3-0 down. And I instantly was like, okay, I need to get my competitive button on. I need to pick him up. So in the last minute of the 90 minutes, I equalized, and it was 3-3. And then we got into pens. And I scored 4, and he scored 3. And if I scored the last one, I won the game. So I didn't care at all, because the season is over. So I went for a Panenka. And just before my player struck the ball, he got his internet cable out, and the game stopped. So no one won at all.
Wow.
But I just had a great time. There was no pressure. I played one game. I got him crazy. And then he got his internet off. So I was smiling.
Yeah. I dig the story. I would have gone crazy myself, honestly.
Yeah, but I didn't care anymore. I was playing for fun. So I had a big smile the whole time.
Important. But besides that, you're not playing, right?
No, I'm not playing anymore.
No. Kai?
No, I'm not playing either. I was really busy with school. So when the season ends for me in April or May, I just focus on my school. And then when the new FIFA comes out, I'm going to grind my ass off. So
is it easy to pick up a controller after such a long break?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think maybe we had a tournament, and it went really well for playing like 2 months. Not
of course.
I agree. The first match, I need to look what's the pause button, but yeah.
John, you have to explain this one to the listeners.
Yeah. So the first match we played in the tournament, I was actually there, not actually before the tournament. It was just saying hi and networking. But then I met you guys as well. So like, you know what? Maybe I can help you out. Let me sit on the stage and let me have that experience as well there, right? And I remember Kai picking up the controller on the place and I was asking, how long has it been since you've played? Like, a month or so. And he actually, with the first first pass he played, he was looking at his controller if he pushed the right button.
Yeah.
Which
So-
button do I choose?
Yeah.
So yeah,
I made some really good goals and some things with Jason, so it
Yeah, we had
went
fun.
really well.
The
Yeah.
tournament was fun, even though we didn't
And
go through.
we played against all pro FIFA players. So I think when you're not playing a few months, you can pick it up really easy and really fast again. So
yeah.
And I even know, Kai, that the guys we lost to from Brøndby,
yeah,
from Scandinavia, they
were at the
both managed to
playoffs,
qualify
both.
for the playoffs.
Yeah.
And even one of them is through to the World Cup.
World Cup, yeah.
The guys from Genk as well. Big shout out to them, of course.
Yeah, from Genk as well.
Really well done. So
Congrats,
Yeah,
guys.
and 4 guys of Holland. So Holland, the Netherlands are the most
4 players from the Edivisie
4
actually
players.
in the World Cup playoffs.
Yeah.
sick.
So it shows a bit of the level you guys were competing at this year.
Yeah.
Just to make yourself a little bit feel a little bit better. Jason, thank you so much for being here. Where can people find you, my friend?
Well, they can still find me and my retirement post if they want to read it on Jason and then Glasu. I'm sure
I'll
Sean
put them
will
in the
type it out.
description. Yeah, I know.
But for the rest of the season, I'll just have a break, and I might be getting back into streaming next season.
Cool. And those streams you should really check out.
Then
been
we will
a lot
have
of-
fun. If I come
yeah.
back, we will have fun.
Yeah, I've been in a lot of streams and I've really enjoyed you seeing streaming. Those Friday night streams were like, I'm going to stream for 2 hours and then you stream for 24. I remember something like that.
Yeah,
It
so
was
we
awesome.
went crazy, and now that I don't have any pressure, it might get even crazier.
Oh, so check that out as well. Guy, I know you're going on 6 holidays in the next 4 weeks.
Yeah. When the season is starting again, I will post all the things on my Instagram, on my FIFA Instagram. I think I only have Instagram for my FIFA career. So that's Kai3112.FIFA.
All right, we'll post it in the description as well, of course. So go check them out. And of course, go check out patreon.com/FUT Review. Check out FUT Review, of course, on all podcast services around the world. And if you're at it, leave us a 5-star review on Spotify. It's just a second word. You don't have to type into anything, but it will help us get found. And you can see these guys' beautiful faces while you're actually looking in the app as well now. So that's really cool. Thanks so much for being here. There's just one thing left to do. And let's see if you guys still remember, because I did not brief you on this one. It is time to drop it.
Drop it.
Drop it.
Drop it.
FUT